welcome to the Meatball Factory podcast.
Meatball Factory. Oh, it's a meatball.
Exactly.
It's a yummy meatball.
That's exactly. It's
made with
metaphorical.
pepperoni and fascism.
Yeah, it's a metaphorical meatball. The idea of the meatball is like something good, and it's a factory that churns out something that's good. That kind of.
And meatballs are known for being the only thing that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think of it as a metaphor for we grind up all these ideas into a paste and we just pop them out with ice cream scoops.
I love
old Italian kids ice cream. There's a garlic bread ice cream going, it's a dessert to meatball.
Yeah, perfect. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Oh, I love that. I love the idea of grinding up ideas to spit out a uniform idea paste into something.
Yeah. Have you ever made literal meatballs?
Yes, a long time ago.
Oh,
have you made meatballs?
I've never made. I don't cook. I cook chicken breasts, and then in fact, during the pandemic, one of my favorite pandemic comfort food meals that I kind of perfected over the course of the year was a sautéed or fried chicken breast with the panko breadcrumbs and the Japanese fluffy breadcrumbs, and then I would make a sweet and spicy peanut butter sauce with peanut butter, various spices like red pepper, chili, a little bit of lime juice on top, and then I'd have that with pasta. Yeah, it was
that sounds delicious.
It was surprisingly delicious, and I would eat it pretty much every night, and I never got tired of it.
That's wonderful.
Never got tired of it. Yeah, it was just a perfect blend of flavors. Never got tired of it.
I eat like a caveman, where I put like a tiny little bit of I'll take like one seasoning, I'll put it on there.
I don't even think cavemen had one season.
That's true. Yeah, they just kind of
like a single atom of oregano would have chilled a caveman. Ooh, grog, too much flavor. Grog be with ancestor now.
I love that. Cool. Basic format of this show is what we're gonna try at least is we're dusting off an old improv. I don't know what would it be called, IP that I made a long time ago.
IP address?
No, an intellectual property. Mr. Isenberg.
Okay.
We're dusting off an old improv IP that I had from a while back, and we're gonna put a fresh new coat of paint on it and steal a format from another project that I enjoy and admire. And so
self-plagiarism.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're plagiarizing from another thing, so it's just traditional.
This is a regular plagiarism. It's just stealing.
So we're gonna steal some format from that, but also we're gonna add our own spin to it. Maybe steal some other ideas, incorporate other ideas from other things. But basically, the premise of the show, what I would like to do is we're going to do a little bit of anecdotes and stuff, and then we're gonna do a short improv scene, and then we'll do some more anecdotes, and then another short improv scene, and kind of like an Armando. Is that cool with you?
Yeah.
We didn't talk too much about this, so it's just kind of a fucking jump in and
just jump in and let it start.
So, have you been cooking a lot? You've been cooking?
So since moving to Austin, I haven't had a lot of time to cook. It was mostly during the pandemic when I had so much time on my hands. Because I was working from home. I wasn't doing comedy in bars because a bar would be the worst place to be during a viral respiratory pandemic.
Yeah, everybody's breathing on it.
Everyone's breathing, coughing, laughing, just like the most expelling of viruses you could possibly have.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely took some time to myself, did a lot of cooking, and did a lot of cleaning around the house. It was a 100-year-old house that I was living in at the time in Madison, Wisconsin, and I rented a tiny room in the upstairs.
That's cool.
And
did you have any roommates and stuff?
There were 4 of us housemates. Each one of us had our own room. We shared, there's 2 bathrooms. There was a kitchen, a living room. There was a basement filled with everyone's stuff who had ever lived there. And they wouldn't take it with them when they moved out. So they'd move in, have all their extra suitcases and boxes.
Leave their shit and then fucking move out.
Yeah, and so the longer that I spent there and the more that the roommates before me moved out, so when I became the most senior of the housemates,
you rummaged through all the
I would rummage through stuff. I would keep the things that I liked. Like, ooh, it's a pea coat with only one gross chew to go in the pocket.
That's funny.
And or furniture, other little trinkets or items. Yeah, I sort of took over the house.
Let's do a scene about that.
Okay,
cool. Hey, Will. I noticed that you seem to be rummaging through a lot of the old suitcases that people have left in this house.
Oh man, it's my favorite thing to do. I have bandages on my fingers from all the cuts from the suitcases.
Yeah, that's odd. Why do you cut yourself on the suitcases?
Oh, the suitcases, they're made in the 90s. They have a lot of really sharp, rusty edges. This was before the great Suitcase Safety Act of 1998. I feel like you should know this. You do study the suitcase history.
I do. Yeah, no, that's my major. Will, I feel like you're waiting on me to move out, and you're kind of pressuring me to move out so that you can steal all my shit. Is that kind of fair?
Look, you have a lot of nice porcelain dolls.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been eyeing your dolls, not touching, just eyeing your dolls for some time.
No, I can see it. I know. I'm fully aware.
Maybe I'm not the most subtle about it. Sometimes when you're asleep, I will just sort of sit in the basement and stare into the porcelain doll's eyes and whisper, "Who is your master now?"
Yeah, and I sleep in the basement, and it's very loud, and it's fucking really weird. So, Will, I just feel like it's time to talk about this, like...
You're right. Time to talk about it. When are you moving out?
That's not what I wanted to talk about.
Can I have your porcelain dolls?
I have literally no intention of moving out of this house.
Ever?
Yeah, no, not for this foreseeable future.
Then who's going to take your porcelain dolls when you're gone?
I am going to take them with me.
Oh.
I will leave nothing behind in this house.
So you're going to be the very first roommate in the 100 years of this house who doesn't leave anything behind.
Yeah, it's my stuff.
I guess that's very on point for you. You are typically the first one to do things of the people that you meet.
Yeah, that's true. I was the first one to ever study suitcase.
Absolutely, yeah. It was the first
suitcase safety regulation.
Yeah, of the 90s, which is it's still weird to me that you didn't remember the one about 1998, but that is the thesis you're working on.
That's true.
I mean, are you perchance going to consider leaving behind your rough draft of the thesis when you move?
No. Are you going to plagiarize my fucking thesis?
I mean, I do collect theses.
Also, can you stop like touching all of my things? You're getting blood all over my stuff.
Yeah, I do. Thankfully, no blood on the porcelain dolls. There was just eye contact. But yes, I do all these cuts from the suitcases. Do you think you're going to leave behind any tetanus shots when you move on?
No, well, I'm not. I'm not going to fucking leave behind any tetanus shots. We see another months go by, and we'll see. That's the calendar. Just whistling.
Just the wind. as the wind ruffles through the calendars.
Not one single calendar, a stack of calendars.
Hey man, these calendars are really piling up in my basement.
Yeah.
I know that I've been stealing them from every roommate who moves out, but at some point I feel like we gotta have room for our beds again, right?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Will, dude, I think it's time for another talk. Honestly,
another talk. Am I keeping too many things? Am I stealing too much? Is this one of those?
Honestly, yeah, it is. You're fucking stealing, and you keep pressuring me to move out. You tried to steal my dolls, and there's blood all over my stuff. And you've stopped since wearing Band-Aids, and you're just bleeding profusely around the house. And frankly, I'm fucking pissed off at you.
That's true. I was hoping that I wouldn't need Band-Aids. I was hoping that all the wind blowing into the calendars would dry out the blood.
To cauterize.
No, cauterizing is when it gets too hot.
Right.
He's talking about coagulate.
Yes.
Coagulate
on the...
That's crazy. It is pretty cool that we can time travel just by having the wind blow through the calendars. Honestly, that's something that I've always kind of been low-key interested in, is time travel.
Sure.
Yeah. And we time traveled several months in the future. I suppose we could have traveled to a cooler time.
No, I like it. You don't want to go too far, because then, like, all your friends die and all the money is worth nothing. But, Will, that's beside the point.
That is beside the point.
I just, I think I am going to move out.
You think you're going to move out?
I've thought about it a lot, and you're fucking weird, and you keep stealing stuff, and I've never seen this many calendars. Where do you even get this many calendars? Who did you steal these from?
Oh, so I only stole a handful of them. It was mostly from previous roommates. A lot of them I get for free at the local McDonald's. They have a lot of McDonald's sponsored calendars. They're like a lot of promo, sort of like tips for weight loss. And then when the kids don't lose that much weight, McDonald's feels bad, and so they just kind of put them in the back alley, and then I can just collect them and put them in my trench coat and bring them home. They're free.
I'm leaving.
Hey,
have you ever been
to McDonald's?
Yeah, have you ever been to McDonald's? Play?
Yes. So some of my oldest and fondest memories of McDonald's actually happened in a McDonald's.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. So so I grew up I grew up half vegetarian. My mom was vegetarian and my dad was carnivore, omnivore, I guess.
Yeah.
And
So you grew up normal, right? I guess like,
are a lot of moms vegetarian? Is that like,
or no, I don't know, but I just like, I feel like if you're
half vegetarian, half carnivore,
you're just an omnivore, yeah, you're just normal,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So our mom was very much into the health food, which was fine. But she read a lot of very interesting books about health food. One of the books she read was called Milk, the Deadly Poison.
Oh,
It was by, I mean, nowadays we'd call him a conspiracy theorist. Back then they just called him an author of that book. Yeah, just an author on the shelf. And the guy's whole thing was that the dairy industry was covering up these horrific cases of food poisoning and toxins and stuff, and that every time you got milk from a cow, it was all these terrible chemicals and hormones and things. And so I was reading through this at the tender age of 6 or 7, and I didn't have critical thinking to realize that not everything you read is true.
sure.
And so I was reading these horror stories of people who they eat a hamburger, but the hamburger hadn't been properly cooked, and so it still had blood and poop in it, and then the kid died painfully over the next.
No.
And so I was like,
You're just like, wow, this is fact.
this is 100% real. I can't eat any milk. I can't eat any hamburger or any meat whatsoever. And so it kind of messed up. Anytime, like, my friends and I would get takeout from McDonald's, or like maybe the class would have a sponsored trip, I was just like, I have to eat the salad or the soda because I will literally die if I eat any chicken nuggets.
Really?
It kind of messed up my relationship. Or like I would eat a chicken nugget and be like, all right, let's see the next 6 days.
No.
It was weird. And
That's crazy.
I don't think about it a lot nowadays just because it's such a bizarre random memory. But yeah, it kind of made me scared of any sort of process.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, I think that and then eventually my dad realized that I was getting into book learning. And so he very calmly walked me through an intro to critical thinking. He's like, okay, so if I write down 2 + 2 = 5 on a piece of paper, does that make it true? I was like, no. I was like, okay, if I print it in a book, does it make it true? I'm like, no. Well, if I print it in a book and sell a bunch of copies, is it true? I was like, no. And so it kind of walked me through the process of just because an adult wrote a book, it doesn't necessarily have.
Your father explained that to you? That's amazing.
In as many words, yeah.
We had different parents, I think.
Did your parents not teach you critical thinking?
I love my parents to death, but like I don't think my parents really engaged in a ton of critical thinking, which is so mean. Like, my parents are the sweetest people in the world. I love them so much, but like, like, I don't think, like, they have a lot of common sense, but I don't think they like. My father didn't go to college, but he's a very smart man, a very successful man. He like runs a auto repair shop and stuff. My mom is a 5th grade teacher, or was a 5th grade teacher, or she retired. But I don't know. I don't mean to be rude to either of them, but they did not teach me critical thinking skills. That was much more like a school taught thing.
No, well, we didn't have it at our school. Critical thinking was not. A lot of things were not part of the official private school curriculum that I.
Sure.
Yeah, so sex ed wasn't a thing.
Really?
Yeah, it was. They was assumed that your parents would teach you, and sometimes that assumption was true. I did hear. This is not me personally, but I heard about other students or classmates whose friends had to tell them the facts of life on their senior trip after they graduated.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so they'd be hanging out.
Like an 18-year-old kid who doesn't.
18-year-old, yeah, so like the 18-year-old boys hanging out around the campfire, and then one of them would make that's what she said joke, and then like 5 out of 6 of them would laugh.
And the other one?
And the students would be like, wait, why is it
Oh,
funny?
my God.
Yeah, which.
That's crazy.
It is weird in retrospect to think that it's legal to just not teach kids certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of fascinating? Like, I don't know. I feel like I kind of take education for granted a little bit, and I don't know. It's like real work to like fucking force kids to learn shit that they don't want to.
It's a full job. Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
And nothing against, I guess, homeschoolers or the private school teachers, but you are required to be a licensed educator for most schools or the public school system. You have to take classes on how to teach, and you have to know the material really well. It is bizarre that you can just have a child that you made and teach them whatever you feel like.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's our last bastion of true freedom.
There's the last passion of true freedom. Yeah, teach your kids about the moon is flat and the earth is. I have a joke that in my conservative Christian school that we had to memorize all the numbers from 1 through 6,000 because that was the age of the earth.
I like that.
Yeah. That's fun. Almost schoolers like that joke a lot.
What is the highest you think you've ever counted before? Like, have you?
Highest I've counted?
Sorry, it's not a really like autistic question. I don't know.
I'm like, well, this one time I got really high and I counted the sheep. I guess that was the highest I've ever counted.
No, for real though. Like I was thinking about that the other day. It's like, I don't think I know that like that.
Row?
Yeah. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like it's above 100, but
okay. So sometimes, if I'm taking notes or whatever on the stand-up shows that I do, I'll quickly count how many people in the audience,
Sure.
and so that'll be by 5s or 10s.
Okay.
And so I guess I might have counted up to 100 or so.
Okay.
Just if there are that many people in the audience.
But I'm talking your whole life. Like it's looking at the highest you've ever counted. Have you counted to 1,000?
Well, I've never tried once. It's like, I mean, I'm not gonna be the guy who's like, well, I had friends because I didn't have friends. But even when I was just by myself,
Yeah.
that was the last thing that would have occurred to
Just
me.
count.
Yeah. I mean, have you? How many things have you counted?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Is like I don't know what the answer to that question is, and that kind of blows my mind because I've been on this earth for 28 years, and every
we know at least 28. So
right, yeah, exactly.
Happy
20.
birthday. I made it another number.
Sorry, you won. All right. Cool, Will. Are you ready for can you initiate a scene based on any of the things that we've talked about?
Yes.
All right, here we go.
Initiate a scene here. Hey, man. The housemates and I just wanted to check in on you. You've been in your room for a couple days, and you have a lot of tally marks.
Yeah, I'm counting. I'm counting up.
Okay. Are you counting up? Are you counting anything in particular?
Nope, just counting. I'm trying to see how I can count.
Okay. Well, that's cool. And then your housemates
don't do that to me. Don't patronize me.
I mean, I'm okay.
No, I hear the tone of your voice. You're patronizing me,
sweetie.
You don't see the efficacy of counting. Look. Most people don't know the highest they've ever counted. And
people don't need to know that, though.
I'm on 46,794.
Oh, my goodness. You're wrapping around the walls. I can see it. You're tallying over the tallies that you've previously done.
My marker stopped working, so I had to start using the blood from my finger like a diabetic.
Your finger is considerably shorter on your right hand.
Yes, that's exactly right.
You have 9.5 fingers.
Well, I don't. Well, my thought is that this project is so important that if it takes all of me, I don't even care.
So you're all the way down to the
last nub.
To the last nub. I mean, we're really concerned about you. Like before we were concerned about you, and now with the new detail of the blood, we were like really concerned about you.
Well, you shouldn't be.
How long is this going to go on?
As long as I possibly can.
But for the rest of your life?
I wouldn't say that. I would say, look, why does it matter?
Well, it matters because we used to be friends. We used to go out and we would count how many chicks we would hang out with. That was a fun counting game.
And then we would count how many women we would stop from voting. We're very misogynistic, friend.
Yeah. I also see that on your other wall. You've written out a manifesto. You've counted all of your favorite war crimes, which I had no idea there were 42.
Yeah.
But you definitely listed them all out with dates and everything. That's very interesting detail in this room.
Look, I'm about to count to 46,795, okay? And
have I been interrupting you this?
A little bit.
How long does it take you to count? How many counts per minute do you do when we're not interrupting you?
I know it's about a pace of a number a second or so.
A number a second? Oh my goodness! Are you sleeping? I see your bed hasn't been slept in.
Who needs sleep? Who needs sleep when you have numbers? When you have the counting?
Most people need sleep. Even when you do, how does the counting not make you fall asleep? That's the way you go to sleep is by counting.
Well, clearly you've never counted.
If we brought some sheep in here for you to count, would that help you get some sleep?
Are you trying to sabotage me?
I'm just helping you try to have a good night's sleep, man. Think of all the counting you could do in the morning.
If this project fails, I am going to hold you accountable for it.
Accountable?
Responsible is what I meant.
It's
your fucking fault.
Did you just try to slip another counting pun in there? Are you gonna make me account for myself?
Look, I'm not trying to do any puns. I'm very serious about this. Will, if you fuck this up, I'm gonna kill you, and I'm gonna burn down this house. Also, why are you... You have so many calendars.
I have so many calendars. Yes, from earlier. And you know what? I'm proud of my calendars. And what I'm most proud of is that I don't need to count those. I don't need to know exactly how many calendars I have. I don't need to know exactly how many porcelain dolls from the previous.
You don't count anything?
I don't need to count. I just have a general idea. I just know it's probably a dozen in that corner, probably another dozen in that corner.
The counting is very necessary. Do you know how much like you have in your bank account? Like, do you know?
I have an approximation.
Well,
I have several digits, maybe three or I make
maybe 3 digits.
maybe 3 or 4
So
digits.
you count by digits.
I count by digits. I count by
3 or 4.
base 10 digits.
Wow.
Yeah, last year became 100 air. A couple months ago, 1,000 air. These digits are going up all the time.
Oh my God.
It's honestly, it's been so much of a stress relief to not have to count things. That's my main thing, is like getting rid of as much stress as possible. And it stresses me out when I see you counting things.
Well, it stresses me out when you count nothing. We seem to be opposite ends, same coin.
We just have to have very different values.
Yeah, we do. Values.
Sensei.
Fucking stupid.
I didn't even see that one coming. That was amazing. Yeah, I always love a pun that you don't even realize.
Yeah, a secret pun. What time is it, Will? That's my question, because we both have an improv class at 2
It's
o'clock.
almost 1.
Oh, good. Okay, we got time.
Yeah, no, it'll take me half an hour to drive there, so we have
Good shit. It takes a half hour to drive to Cold Town?
I mean, I give myself half an hour.
Got it. So you can drive slow. Are you a slow driver? You a defensive driver?
What does being a defensive driver mean to you?
Being a defensive driver to me means you're very like polite with your car. Here, I'll give you an opposite. I'll give you a story here. You ready?
Lay it on.
I'm from upstate New York. I grew up like we were like kind of like the poor kids in the rich school district. It was a public school, but it was like a ritzy public school. A lot of the people, you know, oh, my dad's a dentist. My dad works for Lockheed Martin, like my dad, you know. And my dad fixed cars and stuff, which is awesome, you know. And my parents worked really hard to give us like a good life. But anyway, I'm from like Podunk Town, you know, like upstate New York. And so then I moved to Atlanta about like 5 or 6 years ago. And in Atlanta, there's like 6-lane highways. Atlanta's like famous for like having the fucking worst traffic ever, like comparable to New York City, but like, you know, different.
So when you first saw their highways, you're like, oh, these are real rich kids. They can afford 6 lanes. Not like our podunk 1 lane where you have to pull over and let the other car drive past.
Kind of. No, but like, yeah. Yes. Like in a way, yes. Like, you know, you know, you've got like back winding hill country roads that I'm used to, you know. When I had to go into the city of Syracuse, that was always like a big deal. And I was, you know, there was like 3 lanes in a row.
I was like, oh, wow, let's
yeah.
live the high life.
Yeah. And then in Atlanta, like what I learned in Atlanta is like, there's a different way of driving entirely where like you basically, unless you decide that like you are like willing to like hit somebody else with your car, like you are not going to get off. They are not going to let you in until you fucking like force your way into the fucking...
You have to elbow them with your car door.
Pretty much. Like I know that you're kind of doing a bit, but like honestly, it was really scary, and I had never driven in an environment like that ever in my life. And so like in a 6 month like, you know, really hardcore learning montage, I basically learned how to drive aggressively and realized that unless I learned how to do this, I was never going to get where I was going. And so now I drive like a fucking bastard, and I feel nothing about it. Like
when you go back to your hometown, you're just like running ox carts off that little, like, yeah, say hello to the city boy. We know what electricity is.
I love that bit. That I'm
just like poor little wheelbarrow maidens being tossed off into the
everybody has like a yoke on their neck, and there's like pulling a cart, like,
and then you run them into the town swamp. Wow.
We don't even have animals to pull.
Noah's gotten big for his britches.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, so now I drive like a fucking prick, and I'm confident about it. Like,
that's good. That's good.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it is what it is. But
the craziest driving that I ever saw, many years ago, I did a summer abroad in the country of India and also the smaller country of Bhutan. And it was the first time I'd been to Asia. And it was also the first time doing international traveling without my family, because it was with a tour group and a professor. And the driving in those cities was so chaotic. We had hired tour buses to drive us around, and we would be dodging chickens and peasants and sacred cows in the street, and there would be buses, oncoming buses, driving towards us, and we would be trying to pass someone, and the oncoming bus would also be trying to pass another oncoming bus. So 2 buses in 2 lanes driving at each other for a total of 4. But it's like, if the oncoming bus is going at 29 miles an hour and your bus is going at 31 miles an hour, how much time do you have to pass and get back?
To swerve. Jesus Christ.
And it was terrifying, but we managed it, and we never got any crashes or nothing. It was just very chaotic, but the drivers, I guess, were very experienced with that. So,
well, I've heard that. That's like wow, I'm so ignorant, but I think like organic streets or whatever, right? Instead of like in Western countries like England and fucking they have our system of driving here, which is you have a stoplight and you have a stop sign and here's what you do.
Yeah.
And here's the convention when you get to there. But in countries like India, it was also when I went to Italy and Rome, I was always blown away that there's no lines painted on the streets or anything.
Kind of it's like a school of fish.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
And I blew my mind. I was like, this is crazy. But yeah, apparently our brains can do that, and every other countries know that this is how this can work.
Yeah, I guess assuming that every driver knows and realizes that there are no rules, they all kind of have to work together.
Yeah, like a big improv.
Like a big improv scene. Yes, and I will take this exit.
I love that. Cool. Can we do a scene on that?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do it.
Do you want to initiate this one?
Sure. Here we go. All right. Where are you going? Where are you headed, sir?
Well, I'm headed to the state capitol.
Sounds good. Oh, it's your first time, and
yeah, I've always wanted to visit the Honolulu State Capitol.
Oh, well, I'm from Texas, but I came to Honolulu many years ago, and I love driving around.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, this is a beautiful. I see the volcanoes in the background. I'm so excited to explore the landscape of Hawaii.
What's your name?
Oh, my name's Dave.
Dave. The first thing you need to know about Hawaii is that it's the women.
It's the women.
They're beautiful.
Absolutely, they're beautiful. I've seen calendars.
Yeah, they have the hula skirts on, and then honestly, it's a big distraction while I'm driving.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. There's just focus ahead on the head. That's in front of us. I guess there's a lot of women on these sidewalks.
I know.
They're kind of waving and dancing at us.
That's why I have to wear these horse blinders.
Oh, I was wondering about that. I thought it might have been a cultural thing. Maybe I was like, oh, everyone from Texas wears these blinders when they.
Nope. It's a coping tactic that I've learned from a therapist.
All right.
And he's had me affix horse blinders to my face so that I don't.
Yeah, I'm also wondering kind of about the bit in your mouth. Is that a local thing? Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Sometimes. Well, it got to the point where I was wearing the blinders already, and then it got it's kind of tough to talk with it. But I've learned how to talk.
Yeah, I mean your accent is impeccable. I can't even peck it. It's so good.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Or you want to take a left up here?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, sounds good. Anyway, the other thing about driving in this city is that everybody flocks together like a school of fish.
I was kind of noticing that. There's no street signs or stop signs. It's just they use the volcanoes, I guess, for if it's lava.
Are you going to finish that apple?
I guess I was but planning on it for later. It's been in my pocket.
Are you sure? You're absolutely sure you're going to finish that?
I mean, I have if you want.
Oh, are you sure? You're going to let me have that apple?
If you want that, I have a couple of things. I have a broken carrot.
Oh,
I was kind of numbling on.
Wow, it's still got the strands on.
Yeah, got the little vein strands.
Wow, you're the best passenger I've picked up this fortnight.
Yeah, absolutely. Your hands are on the wheels. Do you want me to feed it? Do you want me to feed it?
This is just. Oh my God.
Wow, this is
sorry. Oh God. Oh, you're not supposed to see that. And he buttons his pants up and sorry. God.
Why do you have a saddle in your pants? Is that a saddle in your pants, or you're just happy to see it?
Look. There's a reason I had to leave Texas.
Yeah.
I have a weird sex horse thing.
Okay.
And look, the people here, they just embrace it. All of Hawaii is cool with it. They seem.
They're very tolerant.
They go aloha, and I go, I want to do horseplay, and they say,
is that Hawaiian for something?
What? Aloha?
I want to do horseplay.
Oh, I don't think so. What I meant was that they're cool with it. They're whatever here.
Okay.
Fucking, you ever seen, what is it, Hakuna Matata? That's Africa. Never mind.
I do have. I mean, you know what? I appreciate that, and I'm gonna shake your hand. You nailed a horseshoe to your hand.
I do, yeah. It's a hoof.
That's
It's a hoof and a horseshoe.
hoof and a horseshoe. Well, now my hand's bloody again.
Yeah.
This always happens.
See. What a fucking weird fucking nightmare.
As soon as you mentioned the fingers thing, I was like, oh, this is what the rest of the scene's going to be. I can't not let
Horse cabbie. I love that. Yeah, he's a horse cabbie.
Have you ever ridden horses?
I have, yeah. I've ridden horses with rich old women at my last job, where I worked with rich old women.
Okay.
And I was like the video boy. That's what they called me.
The video. Come here, video.
Come here, video boy. I'm gonna take a video.
She'll be riding bareback on the stallion, video boy. You're just prancing behind them, a little mule, boing, 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 holding the the gimbal. This will be a shaky camera.
I had a gimbal and I used it frequently.
Yeah, I'm sure on a horse it's impossible to clinch on the horse.
No, actually, I shot that one on a GoPro, and the final video was a little. Except GoPro's got stabilization technology now, so that they can, which is, by the way, fucking really cool, because it was like one of the first like uses of like computer vision AI, where like it's like, okay, cool, like take this, and anyway, never mind. It was pretty sick. But yeah, I used to work for this job where I would like work with these like, what is that noise? They're doing construction across the street. Isn't that fun? It's a great place to film a podcast. A calendar.
Just anything that happens, it's just wind blowing. That is pretty cool about the horseback riding.
No, it was fun. I used to work at this retirement community with like, a thing about retirement communities is that they're filled with women because men die like in their 70s and women, the average lifespan is like, yeah, exactly. God wanted every man to die in their 70s.
Yeah, retirement communities, what a girls' club, all right?
Yeah. No, they are.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I feel like that is kind of nice from God's point of view. Is like, okay, these women have to deal with these awful men their entire lives.
Kill them off fast.
Give them a couple extra years, or they don't have to worry about their gross wieners or anything. It's like, oh, finally, I get a couple of years to myself.
Sure.
Live off the money, all those hours I put in for cleaning and having babies.
Oh.
Yeah.
And a fulfilling career.
And
all that voting I did.
All the voting I did or did not do. Yeah, honestly, women in retirement homes each one of them should get 5 votes.
Sure.
For election to make up for all the years they couldn't vote.
Okay. If you're a Trump supporter, you can just say it. Like, that's okay.
Oh, yeah, that would kind of spew things. Well, it's like they're women, but they're also old, so it would kind of cancel out.
Sure.
Because women typically more likely to support one side, but old people typically look like I guess, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe my data is skewed because I have an aunt who's a very, very avid Trump supporter, and like to the point where like she's also like a very educated woman, and her entire life she was like very like.
It's always wild to see people who are very educated, but they disagree with you about stuff. Yeah. And that can be for anything: religion, politics, science, anything. Is like people who know so much more than I do, and they arrive at vastly different conclusions. Is like, if I were smarter, would I agree with them?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a wild thing.
That's a fucking mind fuck, isn't it? Yeah. That's crazy. I also... Never mind. Yeah, no, I think that's a huge... I love that too, because it's like, you have to acknowledge on some level, like, there are... You ever meet somebody who is so much smarter than you that you're like, that's a whole other thing. Like, like that's another creature. Yeah. Like that person... one time there's this person that is tangentially related to my family, and I only see her every couple of years or whatever, but she like gave a speech one time. I think it was like a eulogy actually for like one of my relatives who had passed, and she gave this eulogy and it was like 2.5 minutes, and it was the most beautiful thing I have ever heard in my entire, like, have you ever, like, I don't know, you do stand up, you like storytelling. Have you ever like seen somebody like, orate for 3 minutes to a room full of people and just be like, holy shit. And she didn't like write it. It was just like the dome.
Yeah.
I was like, that's crazy. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, that person is so smart and so well educated that it's just like she's a completely different creature than anything I will ever be.
That is, yeah, I've seen speeches and I've seen good speeches, but I'm trying to think of a time when I saw like a truly mind-blowing speech.
For me, it's usually like scientists or doctors or something like that, where it's like this person has like, you can just tell that they have spent hundreds of hours literally reading books, like just like consuming information as fast as they possibly can about this thing and understanding and processing that information and like crystallizing it down to like that. To me is like, I don't know. It's crazy because I think that truly like changes the way your brain perceives information, and you become something entirely different. And like, I don't know. Sorry, I'm a dork. Smart people are cool. I wish I was one of them.
Because I went to Ivy League, Cornell, and so you have the base level of academics and book learning that you need to get in there, but then you meet people who are just a whole order of magnitude more intelligent than you. Is like people who get hundreds on their finals easily, and they're like, yeah, I know all the stuff.
Yeah, the things.
Yeah, or the people who are solving math equations that have never been solved before. Like I had professors who had theorems named after them, and learning like, hey, my name's Professor Thomas, and today we're learning the Thomas theorem. It's like you wrote this and you came up with it. Or I heard in the news about a girl who started going to college at the age of 10 because she did homeschooling or whatever, and by the age of 18 she just finished her PhD or whatever. She just kept learning and kept studying. And there's another news story of I think 2 women who came up with a new mathematical proof. It was like a calculus proof for the Pythagorean theorem, like a geometry triangle.
Mm-hmm.
And they came up with this new proof that people have been trying to come up with for decades or longer, and both of them came up with a different proof for it. And the high school teacher was like, that's the Janet and Lily, they're so smart.
That's fucking crazy.
It's like they just did this in high school.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
They fucking proved this old like eons old fucking.
Yeah.
I have one tangentially related story, then we can jump back into another scene.
Sure,
Right?
yeah.
I when I was in Atlanta, I met this girl who was a doctor, and
They let women do that?
I know, isn't it terrible? No, I'm kidding.
I mean, they have 6 lanes. The sky's the limit,
Yeah.
gals.
I thought you were gonna say they have 6 legs, like, and I was like, oh yeah, all doctor women have 6 legs like spiders, like that's normal.
Well, so they can keep up with the men in their profession.
Right? Oh my god.
Okay.
So no, I met this girl and like we had gone on a couple dates, and she was like, yeah, I'm a doctor, and like this girl was like 23, and I was like, how is that possible? Like, and she's like, well, I was homeschooled, and then I started taking college classes when I was like 14 and blah, blah, blah. And I'm a doctor at 23. I'm the youngest doctor in this entire city. And like, and I was like, this is fucking crazy. And she's a fucking medical doctor, you know? And she was talking about like the implications of being a medical doctor at 23 years old and how like people didn't take her seriously. And like, men would never.
They'd never let her hold the scalpel. It's like, I want the scalpel. I want the scalpel.
Hold over her head. And like,
you get the scalpel when you have cheap car insurance. When you turn 26, you go to hold the scalpel.
No, more so like the male patients especially like would not like treat her. That they'd be like, well, when's my real doctor getting here and all that shit.
Yeah.
But I don't know, and it was just crazy. But then like, I don't know, it also just changes you, I think, on a fundamental level, because like she was a very strange person, and like I realized a couple dates in, it's like, oh, this person is like not like I don't know, she was good at like small talk on like the first early dates, but like once you really got to know her, it's like
the medical stuff always slips in.
Kind of, but more
Like,
so just like
She did. You're hooking up. She's like, "Ooh, your prostate is." Oh,
you should get your PSA checked.
It's like, "Ooh, has that mole always been there?"
No, but like she truly like, I think that she had absorbed so much information. Maybe I'm just being a fucking asshole, but like it just seemed like she didn't communicate in the ways that I was used to. Like she did not.
The grunts. And
Yeah.
Oh, Una, one more blowjob.
No, we didn't hook up ever because like
We never hooked up.
right, which was weird to me. We had done like 5 dates. I'm like, well, what is going on? Like, what is happening? Because I really liked her. She was cool, but like, I don't know. Socially, it was a little weird. Just because I feel like she would consume so much information. And I feel like that's just gotta like fucking do something to your head where like, I don't know. Never mind. Maybe I'm just fucking fucked up. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
I had an acquaintance back in Madison, Wisconsin, and she was a veterinarian. She was a vet. She just finished vet school, and she looked very young, to the point that
No.
I guarantee you, whatever happens, I'm not the bad guy. She looks very young. She was my age, or a little bit, but she could have passed for a 12 or a 13.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and not even a hot one too. Just
Oh my god.
And she would tell us that she would be at the vet clinic where people would bring their sick dogs, their cats, and she'd walk in being like, "All right, how's little Roxy or how's Spot doing?" And they'd be like, is your mom the vet? Like, is the real doctor, like, not trying to be mean or prejudiced or sexist, but she looked like a 12-year-old girl. She had a very mousy complexion
Sure.
and her body type was, mousy. On her driver's license, it said hair brown, eyes blue, body frame mousy.
Yeah.
Right.
Fine.
And she'd be like, "No, I'm the vet." And they'd be like, "Is this like a junior high internship program?"
Oh my God.
Yeah, I've never had to convince people that I wasn't a 12-year-old, except sneaking into the movie theater at 12.
Tell us more about the 12-year-olds that you've dated, Will. That people want to know.
Oh, well, there was this one time when I was 12. I was like this 12 year. Yeah, if I did that nowadays, I'd be canceled. Am I right? Can't date 12-year-olds now that you're not 12 anymore.
I've noticed.
That's real. It's a 13. You get your Hogwarts letter and then a restraining order. You may no longer date 12-year-olds. Except a month later, they also become 13, so it becomes okay. I mean, there's that 1 month when you're not the same age where you have to stop dating, and then you come back and it's all this tearful, joyful reunion. The dad puts a shotgun away. You can marry again.
Hell yeah. What a fun run. We're gonna do a scene on that. Before we do, isn't there that fucking Neil Patrick Harris show where he's like a doctor, Dookie Howser?
Yeah.
I feel like if I knew more about television.
Yeah, he basically the same thing where he's a kid, but he's a boy genius, and so he just does. I've never seen it. I don't know if they're
on it.
into it.
And he goes, legend. Wait for it.
No, that's How I Met Your Mother.
I know.
There's just another Neil Patrick Harris thing that I've never seen.
You've never seen that?
I've seen bits of
How I Met Your Mother.
yeah.
I'm a big loser. I like that show a lot. Are you my doctor?
Yeah, I am. You just sit up right here on the table, sir, and I'll get my stethoscope out.
Why is your stethoscope made of plastic?
Oh, well, they give this to us. It's you could choose your own stethoscope here. I chose the Batman one. Batman's my favorite stethoscope character. Can I? Do you want to unbutton your shirt, sir?
Son, how old are you?
I'm doctor age.
What does that mean? Your doctor age?
Yeah, I'm the age of a doctor. I'm a doctor here at United Hopkins Junior High facility.
What's your name? Doctor what?
Billy Jr., sir.
Dr. Billy Jr. Dr. Billy Jr. I don't trust this. I've never been, looked at with a fucking Batman stethoscope. What is that?
Well, it's my favorite. It's my favorite character. My friend Timmy, he chose the Spider-Man stethoscope. But that one, I was hearing weird thoughts when I listened to it. It kept telling me to kill my parents.
What?
Yeah, you know what they say?
I don't.
The Spider-Man stethoscopes. They give you the weird voices.
Dr. Billy Jr.
That's my name. Don't wear it out too much. That's a joke my dad told me. I'm gonna take your blood pressure now, sir. Wow. Do you have? Will I get hairy forearms like you one day?
Probably. Look, doctor, I'm nervous the cancer is spreading.
Oh, okay. Well, we can put you in the kitty cat scanner. It's a cat scanner, but it has fun little kitty cat stickers on it to make it more festive.
I'm really truly concerned. Yesterday I began to vomit blood profusely.
Oh, that's pretty gross, sir.
It was awful, and I'm wondering that if you're the right person to handle. This is a very, very intense medical situation. I am dying. I'm a father of 5.
Oh boy! Oh, I know fathers myself. That's terrible news, sir. Here, let's get you. Do you want a pink Band-Aid or a Dora the Explorer Band-Aid?
Well, I want chemotherapy.
Okay. Do you want Dora the Explorer chemotherapy or do you want Blue's Clues chemotherapy?
You're just gonna give me chemotherapy without even running any tests or anything? Like what?
Well, you're the authority figure.
No, I'm not. You are. You're a doctor.
Well, since you look so much like my dad, so I figured I was going to do what you suggested.
Dr. Billy Jr.
Yes, sir.
I need medical knowledge, prowess. I need someone who knows what they're doing. Is that not you? Well, I will go to another medical.
Did you see that certificate on the wall?
Yeah.
Dr. Billy Jr. written in Comic Sans.
Yeah, with crayon.
Me. That's with crayon. That's me. 5 years of med school.
And there's stickers all over it.
You smiley face stickers. They're stickers that Mrs. Harrison gave me for being the best nurse.
Dr. Billy Jr., tell me in confidence, can you fix me? My 5 children need to know if their dad is going to die.
Yes,
You can?
I can fix you, but I need to take a break for nap time right now.
Oh, fuck. And the guy, did my character have a name?
Mr. Johnson?
Mr. Johnson fucks off. He runs out of the office, and he goes to the doctor's office down the road. Ding, ding, ding. Hi, my name's Mr. Johnson.
I'm Doctor. I'm Dr. Joel. What do you want? You want a cancer screening? I'm 80 years old.
Oh my God, you're so old.
I can help you with the CAT scan, but first you need to pick up my wheelchair from across the room.
Sir, are you? Why haven't you retired? You're so fucking old.
I'm just I love my job so much. I just love screening middle-aged men for cancer, and they beg me to retire, but I was like, no, it's my job because it's my best job I've ever had. I've done this for 30 years.
So you got your doctorate at 50 or so?
Yeah, I started when I was 50. I've been doing it for 30 years. It's been the best 30 years of my life.
Wow. Okay, what were you doing for the first part of your career?
Oh, I was washing dishes.
Really?
It was the ultimate career move. I was washing dishes, and then one day I was 50, and I was looking at this dirty dish, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a doctor. I'm gonna be a doctor. I'm gonna go to doctor school right now. They said I couldn't do it, but I did.
In 1 year, you did 8 years of med school in 1 year?
From the year 50 to 51. I became a doctor in exactly 12 months, and then I spent the next 30 years of my life being a doctor.
Wow.
Yeah, it's my one man business right here, but my name's on the billboard out front.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so you said
Do you do oncology?
Oncology, is that the yes? I'm on call a lot. I do oncology.
No, oncology is the study of cancer.
Yeah, I do the cancer. I do
Got it.
cancer. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yesterday, I'm a father of 5. Okay, my name's Mr. Johnson. I'm a father of 5.
Yep.
Yesterday, I was vomiting blood profusely.
That's don't want to do that as a dad. You got kids.
That's exactly right.
You got kids who
I need to provide for each of them.
Feed your kids.
They gotta eat. They gotta eat.
Can't feed them vomit blood. You got to give them real food.
I'm wondering, do you have a method of treatment, or I don't know. I'm scared. I'm honestly very scared.
Absolutely, yes. All right.
Help me.
Yes. First, I'm going to need you to change my diaper.
What are you talking about?
Well, these diapers are going to change themselves.
I really thought that you would, of all people. I mean, look,
I can't do cancer screenings with a loaded diaper. You know what they say? It's bad luck.
I don't think anybody says that.
I'm pretty sure they say it. I read a fortune cookie once where they said, Confucius say don't do cancer screening with poopy.
Why are there cuts all over your hands?
Why they're cuts of all of? Oh, those are all the tinfoil hats that I've been taking off the little kids at the mall.
Oh my God, are those? Is that? He opens up a back room. Why do you have all of these calendars?
Oh yeah, these are the hot nurse calendars. They give them away for free
at the McDonald's.
At the local McDonald's, yeah. Then they have the Ronald McDonald hot nurse outfits. It's very niche. It's a very niche thing that I'm into. I'm pretty much their only customer.
So that's crazy. I think I'm gonna have to go to a different doctor.
Hey man, when you move out of my office, can you leave some vomit blood behind for me to collect?
And he orders a cab. He runs out of the fucking front door of the up the doctor's office, and he dials his phone. He waits on the yellow cab. It's back in 1995 is where this takes place, obviously.
Yeah.
And the cab pulls up, and he goes, thank God. Please take me to a respectable cancer hospital, please.
Absolutely. Did you hear? Timothy McVeigh just blew up the government building in Oklahoma. It's 1995.
I know nothing about history.
It's my only 95 reference. So anytime someone says 1995, that's what I immediately go to.
The button I was going to go with is, why are you a horse? But I can tell. And see.
Oh, okay. I can only make up the 3 callbacks per minute, so we'd already exceeded our maximum callback threshold.
Hey.
Oh, of course, the cabbie thing.
You gotta. I like that 3 callbacks a minute, or my mind explodes.
Did you go to the improv practice last night?
I did. At Drew's gym. Yes.
Yeah, I had to miss that one. I was doing a comedy show. Any fun scenes happen last night?
It was a lot of fun. We my favorite scene that I did, I was escaping a prison. How are we good on time? Because I was kind of thinking that was gonna be our finale.
Yeah, that should be our finale.
All right, sweet. There was a lot of fun scenes. Maybe we'll just bullshit for the last fucking couple of minutes here. My favorite scene was I played with Sean.
Yes, redhead Sean.
We were redhead Sean, very tall, kind of a cool communication style.
Yeah, he's very very laid back.
very cool guy. And we were escaping a prison.
Oh, love it.
That was great. And he had masterminded the operation, but like the whole bit was like he didn't think that we would get that far. My character was very like looking to him for guidance and slowly coming to the realization that like this person is not the person I should be following out of this prison. He is very, and he's like standing up, like looking at the fucking prison guards, like, hey, and it's like, dude, what are you doing?
I love that. I love
It was
that.
really fun.
Like, I know that you're supposed to be like top of your intelligence, but it also is fun to just have like a very doofus
Yeah.
person who's constantly messing up the raw. Yeah.
What does top of your intelligence mean to you? Like for real? Because like,
Oh yeah. So I mean, I guess the way we were taught it is that you don't dumb yourself down for a cheap laugh.
sure.
But there are times when it is just very fun to be, especially if it's like the gimmick of your character or just the game that you're playing. But the idea is that the audience usually, while you might get a cheap laugh at the beginning, if you respond with a funny thing, it's like the fact that you're sounding smart makes it funny in a new way. Like in the Simpsons, most of the writers were PhD holders in mathematics, and so every time
Conan O'Brien.
Conan O'Brien, yeah. And so every time one of the Simpsons characters says something unusually smart, like every time Homer says something smart, it's funny because he's the top of the yeah. Well, actually, envy and jealousy.
Yeah.
And then Lisa's like, oh, just write that.
Yeah.
And so the idea that acting smarter on stage or acting as smart as your character will allow will usually be funnier in the long term than purposely being dumb for the sake of being dumb.
That's how I always took it, which was like, because it doesn't mean that all of your characters need to be very smart. That's not the same thing. Like, but instead it's like, I don't know. I guess like right to the best of your ability, I suppose, or something like that. Like it would be another way to say it. It's just like,
and the other part of that is like always pretend to know things, even if you do, because references are so much funnier. Even if you are botching them and the audience knows you're botching them, it's funny just to have something to say. Like anytime you have to rattle off a list of celebrities from Frasier, you might not know them, but everyone knows. Frasier has
Don Gleason,
Donny Osmond, and Jerry Seinfeld. They were the main guys.
The main guy,
and that's
trio.
The reality you're in, which is funnier than being like,
no, I'm focused on that. Which I do a lot. I'm very guilty of that. I literally did that last fucking scene. Like, I don't know anything about 1995. What was that? What happened in 1995?
So 1995 was the Oklahoma City bombing.
Interesting.
Timothy McVeigh had a van filled with explosives parked outside some government, maybe the tax office, some government office, and he blew it up. And huge amounts of damage, and I think many people died.
Jesus.
And I think he wrote a manifesto, and I think that it was somewhat in response to or inspired by the Waco, Texas tragedy in '93, when the Branch Davidians were pretty much burned to death in their compound.
Jesus.
The ATF authorities. And so I think that the Oklahoma City thing was kind of in response to that, but 2 years later, it's like, oh, the government's fighting us, we're going to fight them back. Yeah, I don't know that for sure, but in my mind, those two events were always somewhat connected.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's fascinating.
Yeah. And that's been our first inaugural episode.
Yeah.
It will likely never be published in its entirety.
No, it might.
You never know, bits and pieces.
Yeah, it might go out.
For the TikToks. And
we don't know.
Gotta give our fangirls a little something to watch.
To start.
I guess we haven't been filming this whole time. I keep forgetting that.
No, we've been filming. I'm excited to see excited to see what the audio quality sounds like, and if I need to run it through a cleanup thing.
Which I think that's supposed to be a good test run.
Yeah, exactly. No, it'll be good. Anyway, thanks, Will, for hanging out.
Absolutely.
Oh, cool. There's like a timestamp on here. We've been going for about 54 minutes. Cool. What'd you think? What'd you think about the format? What'd you think about the fucking?
Yeah, I like the format. I like the idea of us swapping anecdotes until we get an idea for a scene.
Yeah.
Probably could spend less time on the anecdotes.
Yeah.
Just like
on the scene.
one anecdote a piece, or just like one person tells their anecdote. Although the back and forth is kind of fun.
Yeah.
More of a living room style.
Yeah.
And then having the scenes be, it's because we would just do one long scene. But maybe
doing a bunch of little work.
Although I do like the practicing of the longer scenes. It's nice to be able to kind of sit and rest.
Yeah.
On the there's a term that we learned called resting the beat, where you do a funny thing and then you kind of go back to normal for a while, and then you bring in the next funny repetition of it, then you go back to normal.
Yeah.
Some little payoff for the audience.
Yeah.
We'll tease them a little bit.
Sure. Tickle their balls.
Yeah. So, oh, we're not being funny. Oh, but maybe we're going to. Oh, nope. Now we're not being funny again. Yeah. And then but I do like that format overall.
Good stuff. Well, cool, guys. Thanks for watching. If anybody watched this.
Yeah, if you even exist, I don't know.
Probably don't. None of us are.
None of you will ever see.
Goodbye.